Boris Johnson has hinted that the rule of 6 could be suspended on Christmas Day. The Prime Minister said the government will do everything we can to ensure Britain celebrates the festivities as normal as possible. When asked in an interview with ITV News whether families of 5 can't have both sets grandparents round for Christmas lunch, Mr Johnson said, "We're not saying that at all." He added, "We will do everything we can to make sure Christmas for everybody is as normal as possible." The rule of 6 would mean traditional big family Christmas dinners would not be allowed to take place as normal this year. Earlier this week, Education Secretary Gavin Williamson has said he is determined to get uni students home for Christmas. Mr. Williamson said his department was working with universities to make sure families could be reunited, including ending teaching earlier. He told MPs in the House of Commons, "I know there has been some anxiety about the impact safety measures will have on the Christmas holidays. Students are important members of the communities that they choose to study in. We expect them to follow the same guidance as those same local communities. We are going to work with universities to make sure that all students are supported to return home safely and spend Christmas with their loved ones, if they choose to do so." Close quote. Brits face a bleak Christmas under restrictive coronavirus measures that could last well into 2021. Mr Johnson last month announced that pubs and restaurants will have to close at 10 p.m. every day, with the new restrictions potentially lasting for 6 months, the Prime Minister added. At the time, a spokesperson for the Prime Minister warned, "We are in for a challenging winter period and restrictions are going to be required for a number of months." Former Labour spin Dr. Alistair Campbell blasted the news that restrictions could last 6 months. "Christmas is cancelled exactly as Boris Johnson said it wouldn't be," he said. He has presided over failure and is to a very large extent responsible for it. "I cannot think of a single government that has handled it worse than these liars, charlatans, and clowns." When asked in the Commons by Tunbridge Wells MP Greg Clarke whether the 6-month prediction could be shortened, Mr Johnson said it was subject to review. "The answer is, of course, we must look at what the data tells us, and above all we look at the we also look at rates of admissions into hospitals and new infections," the Prime Minister said. "If things turn around and the British public can do what they did before and get this virus down, then of course we will look at measures." Elsewhere, Mr Johnson apologised for the bad experiences people have had in getting a coronavirus test after some reported major delays and travelling hundreds of miles to get tested. Mr Johnson blamed a fraying of discipline over the summer period for the recent spike in cases and rejected claims there was a lack of communication between Westminster and local government. While he admitted testing has not been as fast as elsewhere, he was adamant that more tests were being carried out in the UK than any other European country. Speaking to BBC London on Friday, Mr Johnson said, "Of course there are people who've had bad experiences and I apologise for the bad experiences that people have had with NHS test and trace. But it is a fact that we are conducting more tests than any other European countries. 20 million people have been tested. Yes, it is true that in London, it's not been as fast as elsewhere, but we are seeing a rise in cases now. Alas, because we came together as a country, we got the numbers down, and I'm afraid some of the muscle memory has faded. When asked whether he took responsibility for infection rates going up, he replied, "I, of course, take full responsibility for everything the government has done.